we got to understand this, man. We got to know the history of that we're mad at. People sit there and say, oh, this and that, or they and that, and that's and that, nigga this, nigga that. Go back to the region of nigga. Go back to the history of nigga.
Yeah.
You feel me? Why is it that we embrace ourselves? What's up, my nigga? And we cool with it. Soon as somebody else say it's negative, right? But they the ones who took something positive and turned it negative against us.
NEGUS.
You hear what I'm saying?
Niggas,
Nah. We
kings.
just talked
Come
about
on.
this.
So,
We just talked about this the other day. And we didn't have these discussion about this word so much. Like, should it really be affecting us at this point? Because we watching this lady go viral and get a whole payday because of the way we choose to react to it.
Right.
Ooh, let's talk about that. Did you see the video though?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so there's a video floating around. There was this white lady. Come to find out, I think she's from Ukraine. So she was on a playground. And a little black kid, 5-year-old autistic, goes in her bag, allegedly. There's no proof, no video, none. This is what she said. Went in her bag and went to take one of her kids' toys or something out of the bag. She reacts, calls a little boy the N-word with the hard ER. There's a Indian dude in the park. He starts videotaping. Hey, did you just call the 5-year-old the N-word, blah, blah, blah? And she flip him off and say, yeah, if that's what he gonna act like. Now, this lady starts a GoFundMe and has almost reached $1 million. So first she had it at 100,000. She reached it like that. Then it went up to 300K. So after she hit 300K, she raised it to $1 million. The goal is $1 million. It says, help me and my family. And people are donating strictly because 2 reasons. One, Carmelo Anthony, he had the GoFundMe that went up. And you know, Carmelo Anthony is the black teen who stabbed the white teen in Texas. So he raised bail money to bail out of jail through the GoFundMe. So now to counter that, white people are donating money to this white lady and calling her a hero. They're calling her the white Rosa Parks. Like she stood up for whiteness, and they're saying that white people are fatigued by anti-white hate, even though the whole history of hate comes from white people, pillaging whole villages and racism and all of that. So a lot of people have a lot of disparaging feelings and thoughts towards white people due to the history and due to what goes on in society today with the systemic racism. So that's a whole nother story. But what do y'all think about her being able to become a fucking millionaire off of just saying the N-word? Because if nobody would have reacted to it,
how much power we hold.
Talk to him.
You like everybody look at this shit so negative. My mind is different. You hear me? If something that brings up an uprouse that much, what's the power behind it? What's the real power behind it? You know what I'm saying? And it shows we niggas are very fucking powerful if we really understand our power. We wonder why people say they don't like black people or they don't like African Americans or niggas or this and that. Because we
tapped in.
We don't like ourselves, nigga. And we show that. So they only going by the example that's being led.
See, I like to look at it a different way. I agree with your point, but I like to look at it as, it's true, yes, we don't like ourselves, but they know the greatness in us. You know what I'm saying?
They do.
By them knowing that, it's like the light. I want to keep making sure that lamp is out. So everything that we do or every chance they get, they have to do something to cover that light or
once
dim
we
that
tap
light.
into what we know we got to do, that's when they come and do that.
It's a business.
But what I mean is, but once we enough of us wake up and get to that point, then they know it's over with. Like, so it's like they can see further down the line than we can, in a sense.
Black Rage is a multi-million-dollar business. She just proved it. We talked about this a lot of times on the show. People are purposely racially grifting and enraging black people for the engagement to get the money. So now if you go look at her GoFundMe messages, people are saying, oh, thank you, you a hero. We tired of them. We need to be segregated. And finally somebody standing up to So what you think about this, bro?
Man, okay. Honestly, when I look at a situation like this, I look at when we talk about the systemic racism, when we talk about the adversity, the social construct of how things are set up to where the drama brings the money and, you know, things of that nature. Honestly, like I'm going to say something not into confliction with what Pookie said, but when he said we have the power, right? We have the power, but it's so many times we give the power. We give it. We indulge in these things. We are quote unquote triggered as a people. We come from a history that we have not healed from. We come from a generational hurt that's been passed down generation after generation after generation after generation. These people do not care about what they're calling you. These people do not care about how they're getting a rise up out of you. And I'm not talking about, quote unquote, just white people, because we have to know that it's not all, obviously it's not every single white person on the planet. Right? Just like they know every single black woman ain't bonquisha and every single brother ain't waiting in the darkness to your daughter and go through your pockets. You know what I'm saying? These are tropes. These are stereotypes. These are things that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation, and people bite on them. My view is exactly what we're talking about. Having to exactly what everybody else is talking about. Understanding that we need to unify as far as how we educating ourselves, how we're moving. How can they make how are we spending $1 trillion a year? How are they making $1 million off of us, but we still run around here complaining about what we don't have, what we can't get? We got to stand in the county line, ladies are getting pregnant on purpose for the check. These are real things. I don't want nobody look at me and be like, oh, he dripping.
It's facts.
These are facts, you know what I'm saying? And we are, but it's because we're not communal. It's because we're not teaching our kids not to be affected. Another generation of us to not be affected by that. We got Google. We got more information at our fingertips than any other generation. We know where it comes from. We know what it means.
See,
why aren't we proud of it?
Because we could take the power away from it if we stop caring.
If we stop caring, but because sometimes we say we're not healed from something, and I'm speaking for myself, like not being healed from. The only time I even think about far as what happened back then, unless it happens in today's time or the racism I experienced in my own life. Other than that, the only reason I feel a way about that because of what they done and the principle of needing to be on that type of time. It's not like necessarily, unless if we go deeper than that and the DNA has been passed down and that's somewhere still in me, and then I don't know why I'm triggered, but me having awareness of myself, it's like, that shit is really nothing. It's like we continue to live there. We don't produce nothing else. We're not creating no new history about ourselves or even embracing. We see people, as far as our people, do hella great things as far as new inventions and creating new stuff. And we don't never give that much energy to that to get out of this stigma of what these people do to us. Because when I deal with racism, it's either I'm going to check it right there or I just look at it like it is what it is at this point. It's going to be some racist people. It's going to be something that's not. And that's the world you're going to continue to live in until the day we gone, I believe, in my opinion. So, like you said, with the power.
Well, we got all the power, though. Like, if you really think about it. Think about it. Like, we think. Let's really sit back and think. We have so much influence over the world and so much power over the world.
Right.
But all we display for ourselves is exactly what we give ourselves. Think about what I said before reacting.
Right.
All we display for ourselves is what we give ourselves. Have you ever heard, you're trying to dress black? How do you dress black?
Right.
You're trying to talk black.
Right.
We the influence.
We're really.
Yeah, we said
we the influence. We set the trend.
You got the same race
Dr. John Henry Clark said they don't have
the same
no
race that we
pattern.
claim don't like us. They're trying to do everything we do.
But do we only...
Hold on, you got to say that louder. You got to repeat that. They didn't hear you.
What'd you say?
Oh, what I said, Dr. John Henry Clark said they have no form to pattern. They have
nothing to pattern.
They have no premise, no background. They're like a sheet of paper that something has to be copied on. And we are the ink. We're the ink. They're the sheet of paper.
So in other words, we are the first ones. We are the original.
We're the blueprint.
That's why go back to what you were saying.
We have the power. Like, okay, put like this: a white man say nigga.
Right.
They know off top. More than 10% of the black people is going to get mad.
Right.
Hey, let's change the fucking
narrative.
That's why I came out with the song, The Nigga. You hear me?
Because if we would have ignored her, 9 times out of 10,
she wouldn't
that GoFundMe wouldn't have went up. But they saw the outrage And they like, oh, they mad that we donating? Let's donate
power.
more.
Right.
We just
Let's donate more.
We gave her $1 million worth of anger.
Facts.
When we look at that, we support. We're not engaging or going against or even supporting or demeaning the racism. We're engaging in the bigotry. They're supporting her bigotry. Like the brother was saying, when he meets a racist altercation or something of that nature, he deals with it right there
on the spot.
But that's somebody being a bigot. That's somebody acting in a bigotrous way, calling you a nigger or trying to cut you in line or trying to exert a privilege over you because you are a certain ethnic background. But the structure of racism, white supremacy as a whole is something that we can't see, we can't confront, we can't stop when we meet it because it's woven into the fabric of this country. We have to unify and literally not politicize ourselves, not form parties. We don't need to run to the streets with signs. We don't need to do nothing. All we need to do is make sure we start developing, like Pookie said, developing our greatness, like you just said, creating and developing our own greatness. I'm going to go back to what y'all probably heard a million times. Why is it we can't make underwear? Why is it we can't produce
the same energy we
toenail clippers?
The same energy we put in our hoods. Now we game banging. We need to have a racial type of politics in that same type of race. You know what I'm saying?
Clothes, beanies,
black first.
We need to have. Clothes, there's other races that have rules they have to follow as a race. You know that, right? It's racist,
and we don't have to follow no rules until we go to prison.
You lawless until you go to jail. Then you follow all the damn rules.
You don't have to go as an African American. You don't follow no rules. You don't follow your mama rules. You don't listen to you ain't gotta listen to your daddy. Your man can't tell you to do what to do. You don't listen to your girl. You know what I'm saying? All of your kids is running around wild. But when you get to that prison system, you got a program. You gonna program, or that's your life. And I'm not saying to treat life like a prison system or something like that, but what I'm saying is take it just as seriously as if your freedom was on the line. Because your financial freedom is on the line. Your legacy is on the line. Your future wealth and development of your children is on the line. We got more kids that are logged on to Fortnite and Roblox than you and have many more counts of logging on to these apps than you got pages and books in your house for them to read. We got to start switching up the narrative, engage, play the games, watch the movies, participate, spend your money, but do it in a way that brings back prosperity to you, to your neighborhood. Gentrification is real. Nobody owns Big Mama House no more. Big Mama House used to get transferred. You know why your auntie was living good and why your uncles, because when Big Mama passed away, they got the house. But a lot of them didn't mismanage the funds, didn't manage the property right, and a lot of them were redlined. A lot of them were worked and lied to, and were denied loans, and credit wasn't right, and all that. And since we have this knowledge, I was taught that a wise man learns from the next man's mistakes before he learns from his own. And I'm trying to teach my kids that, but I really would love my people to start seeing that. I would really love my people to start seeing that this whole fad, because now gangbanging is a fad. I'm 52nd Street Hoover affiliate. I'm associate. I'll always be that. But I am not an active gang member because I would be a fool in 2025 to be an active gang member of any gang unless you being active in that community, growing prosperity and growth. You out there feeding them, making sure they read, make sure they get into school. But if you participating actively in criminal activity in the name of a neighborhood you representing, you missed the boat. There's something wrong with you. If you trying to get put on the hood or represent some type of gang in 2025, you missed the boat. You missed the boat. That was of a time that came and passed already. That was a time where we as a people needed an army, and that energy was redirected into drugs and violence and incarceration. That was a time where people produced a generation of soldiers that was supposed to fight against a system. Imagine all them niggas, imagine all them black men in jail Right now for gangbanging, minimal offenses, sitting out on the corners, hanging in front of the liquor store, all of it being hard, fighting, shooting, drive-bys, all these hard-ass tough dudes that would make you walk across the street if you went up to their hood. Imagine if they was militant-minded and ready for progression in their communities. They had that same anger and attitude and visceral for education, for making sure their communities were better, for making sure that the economics of their community was what it was, and they didn't allow people to come in. I don't care if they had badges or not to come in police their communities. They did that themselves. We saw a glimpse of that with the Panthers. We saw a glimpse of that with what Raymond and what Tukey had dreams of, but it was infiltrated. And that's like you were saying earlier, not to like come back, but when we talk about facing bigotry, we good for that. We good to tell a crack and when to be a crack and go crack off and do wham. But what are we doing in this adverse of this racist system that's putting a foot in each one of our asses? I'm not gonna lie, it's not about being rich or poor. It was a struggle for me to get here because of the adverse of just being who I am in this country.
And that's a key point, because if we look at the situation with the lady in the park, you see how that race rallied up behind their race regardless. It was a 5-year-old.
Right or wrong.
They're going to the 5-year-old was kind of big, and they don't even care that it was a child. So now when we looking around, it's time to rally up. Everybody over here with their feelings hurt because we've been at war, gang banging in the street.
She was already the brick lady.
Yeah.
The lady that got hit in the head.
Oh,
with the brick,
yeah, supposedly got
viral.
Yeah.
Now, instead of everybody rallying up, who cares about who did what? This person's they backing up, like this same lady who, right or wrong, they backing her up. Instead of us rallying behind and seeing what's going on and getting to the bottom of them and standing where we need to stand, everybody it started a male-female superiority argument on the internet. Dudes ain't this, females, I'd rather be in a forest with a bear versus all this wild stuff just came up out of that. And what did it do? It just caused more division. It just sowed more seeds of separation.
That's why we was doing the battle of the sexes, to try to bring it together, because situations like this should show y'all who the real enemy is. Correct. What's really going on. Because even the ones you see doing the donating, they're being puppeted as well, but they don't realize they're being used as a pawn. And it starts with the Black nuclear family, because we're 13.7% of the population, according to the census in the US. So let's just say the race war that they're trying to drive to kick off really kicks off. We ain't got no allies.
It's over.
Number one, we got no allies. Number two, we already fighting at each other. So if we at war destroying ourselves, think about it. You don't get a rep unless you take a reputable out. That reputable is going to be better to fight on the front line than this coward over here. But we spend all our days hunting out the reputable. So we eliminating the best soldiers that we got, number one. Number two, women celebrating abortions, and we already the fucking minority. We already 13%. Since the inception of abortions, it's been an estimated like over 19 million Black kids eliminated. So just add 19 more million.
It's called eugenics, people.
Add 19 more million Blacks in society, business owners, judges, cops, lawyers, that could be helping us on the front line, but we eliminating ourselves.
They're trying to distinct us.
Because for me, it's at the end of the day, like, they know where a nigga from insane, but I still rep my race at the end of the day. So a lot of things that we see, this is what we talk about staying on code, is that it should be automatic. It's not even a thought for me. If I see a nigga out here getting whooped, I'm not gonna be the nigga pulling out my phone. A lot of people, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna record you.
That's
but
the shit I hate.
Other races, they gonna get cracking. It don't matter what it is.
They ain't even asking.
That's one of them. They don't care if they right or wrong or nothing. They staying on code and they getting cracking.
But we don't like ourselves.
No, but this is what I was finna get at. That was my point. Like, even with this lady right now, regardless if it was a kid, she was wrong. The parent could have handled it. You could have talked to the parent in a respectful way and told the kid not to do it again. You could have talked to the kid yourself in a respectful way and got it. And how'd you even let the kid get in a diaper bag because the baby that she had didn't look like it was moving nowhere. She was holding it. So it don't really look like, and I don't know where the parents was for the 5-year-old. But that's neither here nor there. It should have never got to this point. But if we stayed on code, like bro was just saying, y'all basically just gave this lady a payday. That's what I said. I said, damn, that's all they got to do is call us a nigga to get paid.
Call you a nigga and get paid.
Yeah, so because all I seen black people doing, I see even black people going with the white side. And not even trying to make this a race thing, but it is a race thing. But 9 times out of 10, niggas are huck and jive and all that other stuff around the real issue and what's really going on. But that was another point I was going to make, that like us as black people, we ourselves around ourselves. But you put them in a room full of a different race, them niggas get to trying to adjust to them.
Right.
Them niggas get to trying to be like how they want them to be.
Right.
So we still got a long line to go far as when it comes to us. But 9 times out of 10, niggas need to just get on one accord when it comes to shit.
Get on code. Stay on code. You see all these other races, they are staying on code. Whether they got their little back and forths in their communities amongst themselves, when it come to facing everybody else, the world, they on code. We the only ones off code.
And this is not, this is like what El Haj Malik El Shabazz said at Malcolm X, as most of y'all know him if y'all know that name. We don't hate. We're not promoting hate. We're not promoting segregation, all blacks for themselves, to be by themselves, leave us alone, don't talk to us. No. We understand before we can intermix, mingle, talk, work, grow, or anything with y'all, we have to be able to do that with ourselves first. It's so detrimental for me to go take all of that energy to build all of that growth and development and give it to you and neglect home. And a lot of it is the view. A lot of us don't view it as home. A lot of us don't. This is what my brother's talking about right now, about that conditioning. My kids grew up. I'm not religious, but I'm a Pan-African Garveyite. That's not a religion. That's just what I believe in. You know what I'm saying? Studying the ways of Marcus Mosias Garvey. I raised my kids in that household. So they know who Dr. Clark is, Dr. Ben is. They know who Dr. Sebi is. They know who Shahzarad Ali is. They know who Shaka Musa Barashango is. I've taken them to Dr. Umar lectures, and they've sat in Claude Anderson's face and got copies of Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth Science. And I've buried myself in this because my uncles took me to Renoko Rashidi meetings and had me in the masjid on Saturday, while my grandmother had me in the Baptist church on Sunday, had me in the masjid on Saturday. And so my grandfather, who was a Panther out the Central chapter of the Black Panthers, who took me to what they call class. This is where I learned, Jesus was named Yahshua, and, the syllables J, U, and S didn't exist at the time he did. And it was a breakdown. So I had all of these patterns of education. And even though my childhood was spread out, as y'all see when y'all get a copy of my book, the thing about it is I was able, through the birth of my kids, to recognize this is where my power lies. This is mine right here. So the hood can't take nothing from me. The police can't take it from me. Mama can't kick me out of it. Daddy can't not be there, me up out of it. Because, Pops ain't there, so now I got these problems, these issues. No, this is a clean slate with them. I can teach them all the things I've learned, all the things I wasn't able to acquire, and give them a little bit more, And so that's why, and I don't, like I said, I don't want people to kind of watch this and be like, damn, well, they on some black power, white hate. No. We on some black love, hate. We tired of hating. We've been hating each other ever since y'all put us in a pen and wrote that letter. Willie Lynch wrote that letter.
Y'all realize it's really too much.
I take way too much.
You got to go outside, constantly turn your neck.
I don't do no hating. I ain't got enough energy for it. I don't care enough either. Yeah.
It's a whole obstacle. After you start hating and gain beef, you got to start doing extra shit. You got to start taking extra shit, taking extra risk.
Right.
Like when you can simply just be like, all right, my nigga.
Right.
I love life so much, I just smile.